Howdy, compelled unbeliever here. As a former fundamentalist like Matt Powell, today I am going to concede that God does in fact exist and that God does in fact answer prayers. Because today we need to talk about the consequences thereof, of this absurd belief. It just got real.
Oh, wow.
One of the first things that people ask us when they find out that we've gotten married is, how did you meet? We never get tired of telling this story, and we hope that this testimony of God's faithfulness blesses your hearts.
So this video is Matt Powell's video that he produced to put on his channel about his love story with his new wife. Congratulations, Matt. I really need to kind of set the stage here and interpret for those that were not fundamentalists, for maybe the casual Christian or atheist or what have you, what the language he's using here is and what it means. Now, the testimony is very, very important. What this establishes is that someone arrived to the faith, believed in God, Jesus, what have you, and then it goes into how God changed their life and what God did for them. This is extremely important for a pastor or a rising pastor to establish. Then he talks about God's faithfulness in the same sentence. So what he's referring to is here, if you are faithful to God, God will in return bless your life. That means work miracles, do what have you to improve your life. Matt Powell's video, it will be linked in the description. He goes on in the video basically just describing how he met this girl who became his wife, and that he got very, very sad when he had to leave Arizona as he was visiting Steve Anderson, and he thought he would never see her again. So he decided he would pray to God.
That night, I went to bed asking God to make it possible for me to see her just one more time before heading back home to Michigan.
Here the narrative continues to show that God did in fact answer Matt Powell's prayer. Praise God! Maybe not.
My flight was scheduled to take off the next afternoon, and so I knew that the chances of seeing Frances again were almost impossible. The following day, we arrived at the airport. When we got to the boarding area, I asked the Lord one last time to be able to see Frances again before leaving Arizona. I told him that I wanted to just have one more chance to see her. Right when we started to board the plane, the flight attendants put everything to an immediate stop and said that the winter weather conditions in Michigan were way too dangerous for landing. To my surprise, the captain of the flight crew told us that the next closest flight would be taking off 3 days later. I became very excited, and I knew this meant that I would see Frances again.
So here, Matt Powell clearly establishes that God did in fact answer his prayer. But let's take a look at just exactly how God did this. He brought a storm, a deadly storm, that killed 3 people so Matt Powell could get the girl.
We're so thankful that the Lord has brought us together. He alone receives all of the glory for this chapter of our lives. Oh, magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together.
So Matt Powell, in this creepy ending of his film, once again establishes that he gives God all the credit and all the glory for his now marriage, in which God murdered 3 people so that that could happen. It literally, if you look at this video, this is what he is suggesting. This is what the fundamentalists do. This is what they believe. I truly hope in this case that there is not a God. that God did not murder people just to suit Matt Powell. This is Compelled Unbeliever. I no longer believe there is a God.